Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the love of the challenge. I'm your host, Robert Smith Jr., and Becky is joining me this evening. What's happening, Becky?
It's Tuesday.
Yeah, it's
That's
Tuesday. So,
you gonna talk with your mouth full, Rob? Come on, get it
no,
together.
it's gonna be clear in a minute once I get finished eating these sunflower seeds. But, ladies and gentlemen, it has been decided. We let's go ahead and just jump into it because we're not gonna talk about the winners. We're gonna talk about it at the end of this episode because everybody know who won. But this was actually an interesting final. I enjoyed it. I really did. It came down to Adam and Steve and Davon and Shane, and that was a true heavyweight bout between those two teams. What did you overall? Before we get into the first leg of it and then the second leg, what did you take away from this final?
I mean, it definitely was an interesting way of setting it up. I did really like how they did the stars this time versus how they did it last time. So I am a big fan of how they decided to change up. And this is how it should have been in the first leg. In the first All Stars, if they were going to have stars. This whole advantages thing was ridiculous. But I am glad because it made you feel like they really earned it. Versus last time, it feels like it was kind of given to, like it was a popularity contest. Like you're not going to win against somebody who has like 5 stars and you have one, you know?
Mhm.
But
So yes, I totally agree with you with the star thing because it was definitely interesting to see who was going to come in first, second, third, and fourth. And let's go ahead and jump into it. The first leg, not the first leg, when they opened up this particular episode, which is episode 11, they actually set everybody down, did a dinner. It was like the calm before the storm, where they sit down and talk about what they're grateful
it's the
for,
Last Supper.
the Last Supper before the final. And I gotta say, I kind of got teary eyed on some of those after Adam was talking about his dad and how he was wishing that he sees that he wanted to make him proud, and then how Mel is a single parent out here fighting for her child, and Davon and Shane. We don't know if they're gonna be friends or not. Shane want to be friends, and Davon ain't saying nothing. I thought that dynamic was interesting, which kind of questioned Shane, like, "Hey, what am I doing here if Davon don't want to be friends or whatnot?" So I
You
thought
don't
that
have to
whole
be
thing was
friends
good.
at the end of this. You
Right,
just
you
have to
don't,
be able to communicate and
and make
cooperate.
right and make that money. So
Because
I
at the end
thought
of the
that
day, you could like there are people out there that I work well with that I wouldn't fuck with outside
right.
because they're just not. And mind you, sometimes it's nothing bad. It's just there we have different vibes and they do different things and we don't mix. And then there's
Right.
other times where we're like, yeah, the vibes would not work and we'd clash. And I think that's where because Davon is really on her peace tour.
Mm-hmm.
She's trying to be like in a very, clean, you know, God fearing, kind of,
Mm-hmm.
she's trying to move away from Day. She's trying to be Davon,
Right.
kind of situation. She's not trying to be Day anymore. She's trying to be Davon. But
Right.
so I think Shane is still in his messy, you know, drama guy. I mean, we saw that in the last step. What I don't know if it's the last episode or the episode before that, where he and Davon got into it,
Right.
where she's like he wants to be the bad guy for camera time because he feels like it's the cool thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and honestly, you know, before I think they would have been really explosive. Before Davon kind of said she was growing, and we love growth. I do wish Day Day would show up a little bit because I do miss her because she was just sass and fun and don't take no shit. But I can understand you want to maintain your peace. But
Right. You definitely want to do that. And plus, when Shane at the first checkpoint challenge, he was like, "I'm out here to win this money, so let's go. I'm going to win this money with Davon, whether we friends or not. So I like that dynamic, even though he didn't say it like that. I like that
With or
dynamic
without
of that.
Davon, I'm
Right.
going to win this money. But
Yeah.
well, at the end of the day, I think Shane understands where her comments are from. And the thing is Devon is real. That's the thing. You can never claim that she's a fake person. She's like, and when they were like, Devon, and he's like, oh, she's eating. And he's like, no, she could respond. And she's like, so what are y'all planning to eat afterwards?
Right.
You know, that's something I would do. Like, okay, awkward, subject change, because I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna pretend that we're gonna be friends or I got your back or we're gonna be, drinking coffee after this. No, we're gonna split our money and we're gonna go and we're gonna
Right.
split like we split our money and we're gonna go our own way.
Right.
But I think Shane was being melodramatic. He very well knew where Davon's head was at. He can't walk around playing that he thinks that, Davon was being different, which we all know she's not. Davon gonna tell you. And it does, and if she's not gonna tell you, it's gonna show right here in her face.
Mm-hmm. The
And
most definitely.
what do they say? Silence is telling. And that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what it was. The silence was so loud that um a deaf person can hear it. Uh
Right.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And it was melodramatic and it's very Shane. Um, I did like Shane this season. I do feel like he was actually a lot more mature this season. I don't know if it's because he didn't really have anybody to really fight with
Mm-hmm.
other than Frank. And that kind of seemed to happen at the tail end. But,
Right.
you
Yeah,
know,
and it was definitely interesting, especially um when Davine kind of changed the subject. I thought that was hilarious, and she was like, "What y'all eat?" That was funny though. I got to give her props on that. But she could have been real on at that moment in time because everybody else was pouring their hearts out during that time. The calm before the storm is what I call it because the shit's gonna hit the fan the next day when they actually go to the final. And mentioning final, let's go ahead and get into this first checkpoint, which is coding balls. Okay, this was actually an interesting opening for this final because they had to go up this hill and to decode a puzzle. That was interesting. I thought that was interesting. TJ breaks the money thing down. Fourth place gets $5,000. Third place get $10,000. Second place get $35,000, and then the first place get over 200 plus $1,000. So it was a good breakdown. I think everybody. I'm glad they put the money for four places instead of just three or two, because everybody getting paid regardless. The goal is to win $200,000, but if you don't win it, at least you walking away with something in your pockets. So I'm
I'm
glad
not
they
gonna
were able to
lie.
do that.
I hated that they took that away. And it was a
Hmm.
winner take all type of situation. And that honestly happened really after Vendettas. You just started to see the winner take all situation, which just really was not a good twist. I get it. You're like, oh, they won $1 million, but four other people made it there too. Technically eight because it's, usually four female and four male. But I always hated that they took that away because it just doesn't make it as worth it for people to come if
Hmm.
they are like, I can get all the way to the end and I only get my per diem,
Hmm.
you know, even if it's like 10 grand,
Right.
something, you
Hmm.
know.
Right. Definitely that. So, um, coding balls. I thought this was interesting. First checkpoint for the final. Um, the shocker for everybody, honestly, was Nicole and Mel finishing first. What did you think overall? Because I was shocked that they finished first, and I was like, well, we gonna see if that's gonna last. And I kind of figured it wasn't gonna last throughout the whole final. And you saw them fall apart during the final. What was your take on that first leg with Nicole and Mel winning that first portion of the final?
I mean, I was always really shocked because let's be honest, they're not the brain trust.
Mm-mm.
of the challenge, and you look at them and you go, wow, and that just shows that anybody can win a
Right.
puzzle, but really at the end of the day, I was really proud of them, especially for someone like Nicole who
Mm-hmm.
really struggles with puzzles. Um, Now I heard some comments that they did not get the last puzzle, but here's the thing, they're two smaller women and they were going against teams with with larger people. So they could
Mm-hmm.
not get their board clean to be able to figure out that puzzle. So
Right.
it wasn't that they were dumb and they couldn't figure it out. It's just that they couldn't get enough cleared off because they just didn't have enough mass and there was only so much you can do when you're a smaller person.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously someone like Sam could take a lot more, she takes more space. And even like Frank and obviously Steve and what's his face too.
Mm-hmm.
Are there bigger people so they're able to spread eagle more and get more unloaded. But I was really surprised, really happy for them. I didn't expect it to last because, let's be honest, Melissa and Nicole have two of the thickest accents ever, and they're teammates, and they don't know how to enunciate to save their lives. Um, it's just bad.
Yeah.
I knew the minute that something became hard for them, their communication would die because that's the same thing. The minute they get hyper, the minute one of them starts to freak out, the other one does not have the ability to calm the other one down.
Mm-hmm.
You need
Right.
somebody that's going to be able to, okay, you need someone that's calm versus two people freaking out is not going to fix it. You need one person to be like, okay, you're freaking out, go over there, I'll take care of it, kind of situation. And
Right.
they did not have that.
Right. Which was sad. So, but so we see Sam and Nicole take first. Um, Shane and
You mean
Davon take
Nicole and
second.
Melissa?
I mean Nicole and Melissa takes first. Shane and Davon takes second. Third was Adam and Steve, and coming in a whopping last, actually they DQ'd was Sam and Frank. So that was order in which those went in that particular round. This was the first round of barrels. Um, Now the second,
Well,
what was the
let's
second
talk
one?
about
Go ahead.
Sam and Nicole. Sam and Nicole. Now you got me doing it. Sam and Frank, because Sam saw those sand dunes and was having PTSD of Battle of the Seasons.
Oh yeah,
Cause
me too. Cause I
she's like, me and
that
sand dunes do
yeah
not go.
because when I saw that I said I said damn this remind me of Arizona because they got some hills like that. Cause I remember I looked up. I said damn I got to do what now? I told that lady I said I got to do what now? I got to carry this big heavy thing up this hill. I said you are you for real right now? And she was like yeah. So I had some PSD when I saw the hill too myself. But it definitely reminded me of the seasons when they were dragging her through the sand. And I got to tell you, she was younger then. She's much older now. She's a little heavier. So I kind of figured she was going to struggle with this. I think Frank
She
could
was in
have
her
been
prime there,
right.
technically in Battle of the Seasons.
But I feel that Frank handled this whole situation wrong. Honestly, he could have actually handled it a lot differently than the way he did. Because number one, you here to win, but I'm sorry, you got Sam. You got to be a little bit more patient with her. And he should have came at that point to the realization that you not going. There's a possibility you not going to win the $250,000, whichever whatever amount that was that they were going to win. But he could have just been kept striving for that number and just been supportive the whole time because he wasn't really supportive of his partner throughout the whole time. He's like, oh my god, here we go. This is what I did not want to happen and it's happening. So what was your take on the whole Frank and Sam deal?
I mean, I get where this frustration is. Cause it's a very much a situation of like Big Easy bringing down his entire team because he cannot physically do what he's supposed to do. It's any team player or teammate that literally cannot pull their weight, and now you're frustrated. And at the end of the day, they could have won it, because had Sam not, I think Sam gave up. And that's really what I saw. I saw she, at the end of the day, she defeated herself. We've seen people go through much more. Um, and that they still kept going. Frank, did he handle it the best? No. But I also get it. Because at the end of the day, he didn't fucking call her out her name. He wasn't screaming in her face. He wasn't like grabbing and shoving her like she did. Like let's be honest. The way they handled it on Battle of the Seasons was extreme.
Yeah, I mean,
And
over extreme, really.
I mean, they were shoving her, they were tugging her.
Yes,
So
which was
like
wrong altogether. So
the way they shoved her was like a dude shoving another dude, which was just
yeah,
not, if you
not
look back at Battle of
acceptable.
the Seasons, it was very unacceptable. And I
Yes,
think that Frank voicing his frustrations to the universe is not in any way, shape, or form like a bad thing, because he's a competitor and he wants to win. Whether he has to do that with Sam, strapped to his ankle or not. Um, so I get it, because I'd be the same way. I'd be like, motherfucker, we
I
got
mean,
all the
yeah,
way here for nothing, for
but I
five
mean,
thousand dollars.
but in the end, it's not like she's new to the game. I can understand if she was like brand new to the game and you knew the extremity, you could at least prepared yourself for this type of activity because you knew it was going to be tough.
Well, I
So
mean,
why
she
not
openly
prepare?
stated she didn't.
And I'm like, that's her downfall because you've already been through it. That's like if you already been through it, you know what to expect for the second time around. So you haven't played in I don't know how many nearly years. You got to come in prepared. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, she don't have nobody blame but herself for the downfall that she experienced in this particular fight.
And she wasn't blaming anybody. And that's the thing I can give props to Sam for. Because Sam wasn't saying, you're being mean to me, you're rude, you're bad, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to do this anymore, kicking around. She really took responsibility for herself and was like, I'm dragging down the team, but I'm going to try and do my best in other ways. We may not win here, but let's focus on coming forward to the future. And she's like, I'm not going to quit, and honestly, they
Right.
came back. What was this next? So honestly, the sand dune, it is what it is. I mean, I think look at even the most fit, because even Melissa and Nicole were having trouble getting up and
Yeah.
down that thing. And
Yeah, because
they're,
you were
and,
saying, yeah.
and they work out. Fucking
Right.
Nicole's a fucking firefighter, for God's
Yeah,
sakes.
because that sand would have killed me, and because I hated the sand portion. It's almost like dry mud. You know what I mean? So
I give her
anybody can
props
play.
for making it to the top and not dropping the ball, and doing what she
Right.
could. And
Because
honestly, I think she kind of carried that puzzle, because Frank was trying to say there was more letters in there, and she's like, no, that's not in there.
well,
So
it didn't matter because they DQ'd anyway, so they didn't get no stars out of that. So that was a waste of time, basically.
I
So
mean, he was pulling letters that were not on the board.
right. So
The
I mean, they
Davon
could
had the right thinking about it. I'm going to take these stars, you take those stars,
right.
and then we'll meet at the top, And I think that was the best way of doing it, is splitting it. But anyway, moving on to the next station.
Yes, which is hashtag barrel. So that one was actually interesting because they had to go across using the barrel. And this was something that we saw in the elimination early on in this season, which Adam and Steve did very well in. And they
Killed
actually
it.
killed it. So they actually took first in this particular race. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Davon and Shane won second. Um, third was
Yes.
um, what's her name?
Nicole.
Nicole and Mel. I don't know why I couldn't think of Nicole and Mel. And then who came in last place? is none other than Frank and Sam. So I thought this overall was interesting. With Sam was like, I'm not good at this. I'm just like, again, we
I
got the
don't
whole
blame
Frank
her.
situation. But I mean, Frank could have handled this, and that's why I'm saying you already know her capabilities, and you've already won a challenge with this woman. You know good and well y'all not getting no first place, even though they came close to getting first later on. But I'm
Did
sorry,
they get
talking forward.
third in this
They
one? Did they get final in this one?
they,
I don't feel like they got.
they got third. I think they got either no. Nicole and Mel got third. They got last.
Are you
So
sure?
yeah, let me go back. I was looking at it because I'm actually going and doing it as we are going through this. Because they didn't get but not one star, I believe. Yeah, they got one star. Well, yeah,
Okay.
they got
So
one star on.
I felt like
So
they
yeah.
got third. And I
Now,
know it was a toss up between Nicole
Nicole and Mel
and
got
them, and
yeah,
then him and her. I mean,
right.
let's be honest, they were battling for last place.
Yeah, both of them
Uh,
third and fourth. Because I mean, the two teams that were dominant in this final technically was Adam and Steve and Shane and Davine. Shane and Davine, they did an excellent job in this final. And I mean, it was pound for pound fight. I mean, it was a dog fight between those two teams, which I
well,
really enjoyed this
the
final.
thing, because Shane and Devon were not getting along, but their
Right.
communication was on point.
Yeah.
They never allowed the fact that they were upset with each other or not on the best terms come in the way of their experience. And I think, because I don't think Shane's ever been in a final. I think this is
No.
Shane's first final.
Yeah.
So I think that's also very telling because Shane's been on a lot of seasons.
Yes,
But
he had.
so I think that they just knew how to plug it in. Because at the end of the day, no, you don't learn how to, be a circus, creature and roll and keep your balance on a fucking barrel while holding a rope. Like, it's just I know I would probably fall on my ass too. Plus you're tired, plus you're hot, plus there's sand everywhere. You got sand in your pants and all kinds of places that are not supposed to be.
Mm,
So I can't even imagine the chafing right now that they're probably all feeling.
right.
Um, so I understand it. And again, I don't blame Frank for being frustrated. I also don't blame Sam for not being skilled in this. I think they both handled it the best way they can. Could they have done better? Yes. Will they do better in the future? Probably. But Frank is also still going to be Frank, and he's a competitor, and he wants to win. So he's going to push.
Yeah,
And
but at this time you're not really in a position to really honestly, you know, take the crown. You know what I'm saying? It's there for the taking, but you're not really there to really take the crown because you got somebody holding you back technically. So which is Sam. But again, that comes with experience. Because I mean, even though I haven't been into this challenge for maybe what 3 years or so, or how many years she stayed out. I'm coming back prepared because I mean, just like
I mean,
me,
it's been probably 10 years since
yeah,
Sam's
I
been on the
haven't ran
challenge.
a Spartan race in years, but I'm going prepared. I'm not going on there like I am now because if I go in there now, I'm not gonna make it. So I make myself prepared, get my mind mentally right to go through hell and back again. So when that time comes, I'm ready to go through hell, and this is a walk in the park. So she could have made it a lot more easier on herself, but again,
I mean, she was a one and done too. So it's not like she
right,
never
but
came back for another season. So she had only one experience. It was hellish. And I probably understand why she didn't even probably pay attention to the challenge. And even when you consider it, the challenge got harder.
yeah.
So much harder since she was on. Even All Stars is harder
Hmm.
than what it was during Battle of the Seasons.
Right.
So at the end of the day, it is what it is. Should she have trained? Yes. Can you fault her? No, she did what she had to do, and she came to try it. And if she decides to come back, I know she'll come back better prepared. She's not really sure what the challenge is anymore, and I'm sure she hasn't followed. So, we'll see kind of what happens. And All Stars is also one of the ones that's always been known to be a lighter season. I don't think she realized, oh my God, we're going to have new people here, like Big Brother people here. Like, do you think that she thought she was going to go after what All Stars was, which was people like Beth, people like
Katie,
Katie, what's her face?
Veronica.
Like Veronica. All those people who are like older and with her like older than her or within her age range, that haven't been on the challenge for years, so they would struggle bust it together. But instead they got on with people who were from the flagship, you know? So that's also a big thing. You got to think of it that way too. But anyway, moving forward, yeah, but no, honestly, this was kind of boring. We knew who was going to win it. Rolling on a barrel. Steve and Adam, for some reason, are circus freaks, and maybe they went to clown college or something, that they learned how to do this
Right.
random ass shit, and have balance like a tightrope walker, which I gotta say I appreciate, and kudos for them for doing that. But yeah, so we're moving forward. Next challenge,
Was
and that
Towers
one
out.
was
Towers out, which they had to build a pyramid to complete this particular challenge, and they can also sabotage whoever they choose to continue on and then to actually win. So this was actually an interesting one because Adam and Steve kind of target the wrong people. They target Frank and Sam, which I'm like, why you not targeting Shane and Davon? Because that's your real competitor. Now, if they would have targeted them, they could have actually won it easier because you had to build it to the height that it's supposed to be at, and it would have been a done deal for them. But they target the wrong people. What did you think overall, Frank? Not Frank. I'm sorry. Adam and Steve's strategy there. Do you think they made the right strategy, or did they make the wrong strategy?
that was a petty Betty situation. They were mad at them for voting them in. And even Steve was like, "What are you doing, Adam?" But it is what it is there. We knew they were going to get last if they were even going to finish in that particular item. But I mean, Sam and Nicole took care, not Sam and Nicole. Now you have me doing it. Nicole and Melissa took care of it where they actually did sabotage Davon and Shane by knocking down a portion of their tower.
Right. Right.
But this is where we saw Nicole
And
and
Melissa
Melissa
really started
fall
fell
apart.
off. Yes, they definitely was falling apart at a rapid pace. And I gotta say, I'm not surprised because Nicole can make it to the final, but I don't think she has what it takes to win one because she's not patient. She didn't listen. She should have listened to Mel when she should have said, "Hey, you gotta slow down, bring it down a notch. We the slower the better." And she wasn't listening, so that's why they kind of was failing at this particular challenge. So, what did you think about the whole Mel and Nicole fall apart?
I mean, you could see it, which is crazy because they had this elimination, which I'm guessing this was um inspiration for when they went against Veronica and Katie.
Hmm.
So I do not know why Nicole didn't take Melissa's advice, because Melissa was the reason that they really won that elimination. So kind of looking at it going, come on guys, get it together. But I was I wasn't surprised. It's a lot of cooks in a kitchen. You saw that their communication was starting to fall apart during the barrels. And this just kind of escalated it to the point where now they weren't even listening to each other. And now they're just yelling at each other and their accents get thicker. I mean, I swear both of them need subtitles. I love Melissa, but she talks so fast that you're just like, oh my God, slow down. Oh my God.
Right.
I need
And
you
then,
to. I was like, listen, they taught me something in school. It's called enunciate, pronunciate. That
Right.
is what I was taught in choir. Enunciate, pronunciate, sing from your diaphragm. Do not sing from your stomach. Um, but yeah, so the whole situation was bad. I saw it falling apart. Watching Davon and Shane kind of kill this whole thing had me being really proud of those two. Um, and seeing
Well,
kind of Steve and
they
Adam coming
came
together too.
they came in third in this one.
Did
Frank
they
and
come in
Sam
third?
came in, yes, they came in third. Frank and Sam came in second. Davon and Shane came in third. And Nicole and Mel came in last. So that was actually an interesting challenge. So I was surprised what the order was, but the damage was being done already because Mel and Nicole were already in last place at that time, and Shane and Davon and was still in first. Adam and Steve was down three, so they had 10 at that time, and then so forth and so on. So it was already still a tight race. About time it was over with. So Adam and Steve was only down by three at that point, going into the camp duplicate. So I feel like this was a true final between those two teams, and we're seeing that firsthand
Was it
because
the duplicate one that was next, or was it the food? No, the food one's after the duplicate.
yeah,
Okay.
so we all duplicate because I'm already following as we go along. I'm actually looking at the actual footage of it while we are talking. So I know it. But this actually was interesting because this reminded me of the first Rivals. So because they had a similar thing in Rivals where they had to duplicate a campgrounds, and here enough campgrounds again. I said, okay, this reminds me of Rivals. What did you think of this duplication? Did you thought it was too much? I enjoyed it,
I
but you
liked
might.
it. I liked it because it really showed that the small details mattered.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, where Steve and Adam were doing bad, they had one thing missing, and it was that their napkins weren't folded properly.
Right.
And Adam kept saying, I think this is folded differently. And Steve was dead set that it was not that. So, and even Nicole and Melissa, their issue was that it was turned the wrong direction. It was a
Mm-hmm.
sleeping bag. It needed to be long and it needed to be flipped a certain way.
Right.
So, it honestly, it's panic mode. You're trying to do it fast, you know, and then you're looking at every single detail. And when you get to the point where you're looking at every single detail, everything just blurs together.
Right.
And then they're running and like all this. It's just a lot.
Right.
So seeing like, because it was, and Davon was so funny when she said, she's like, I love details because I'm just nosy, but but I'm really good at details. But so seeing her do that, and honestly, she was like, I know this is it, and this is done. Um, I enjoyed seeing them kind of bicker with each other. This is flip. No, this is this, and that's this direction, and this is this direction. So it was really fun to see who's like the detail oriented one of the group, versus like the one that's like a scatterbrain, which,
Right.
let's be honest, Melissa and Nicole were completely lost.
Right.
Poor things.
Yeah, and we know they came in last, Nicole and Melissa. And then on this particular challenge, Shane and Davon came in first. Steve and Adam came in second. Third was
Rick and
Frank
Sam.
and Sam, and then last but not least, it was Nicole and Melissa. So this was actually interesting. I liked it. I loved it. I'm glad it transpired the way it did, because it was get ready to shape up for day two because we were winding down to the end. Anything else you want to add to this discussion?
No, this is
Beck?
really straightforward. But um, I liked it. I really enjoyed it. And honestly, I enjoy the way they're doing stations versus like run, 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 run stations. Run, 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 run stations. This just seems to be like, okay, we're moving to a different location. Here's your next, challenge. So I really like that. I hope that they do this something harder version of this during the flagship, but I did like the way this was mapped out.
Right. So after this one, it ended after this is day one, not day one. I'm saying this is the end of part one. Part two is
Mm-hmm.
get ready to come. We're gonna go ahead and get started on part two. Or do I want to pick that up tomorrow? Let me pause for a second. I think we're gonna pick up. Hold on, let me pause for a second. Where my pause thing?
Let's say
Got
30